all. This is Dr. Arupna Chaturvedi from the Department of Information Technology. The subject which I am taking is Artificial Intelligence. In this, within Unit 5, as we are talking about Lisp programming, today we talk about the concept of functions. As you have already learned various times in various programming language, the utility of function, that function is basically a collection of some set of statements which basically used to perform a particular task. Similarly, in Lisp also, the usage of function is just to group up some set of statements together to perform a particular task. You can divide a program into separate logical divisions in which each and every division is having a particular name given and which is responsible to perform a particular task. This kind of approach is known as modular approach, which is used to make or design a program with much more clarity and which takes less time because the functions are used to be called according to the utility only. Otherwise, they will remain as it is. So in Lisp, the function is defined by using a macro name that is defun. Defun is a name of a macro which is used to define a function. And to define a function, we need three arguments. One is we have to give a specific name to a function. Then in case we are passing some parameters to the function, we have to mention those number of parameters we are passing and the types of parameters we are passing. And after giving the name of a function and the argument you are passing from outside while calling a function, you have to define the body of a function, which is the main set of statements which will be performing task when the function is being called. So on the basis of this, we say that we will be putting parenthesis. This is the syntax of defun. Then defun, the name of a function. Then within parenthesis, the list of parameters will be coming. And after that, you can have an optional documentation string also, which will be defining what the function will be doing and the statements which comes within body part. This main parenthesis will be going to get closed over here. So this is a syntax of a defun macro which is used to define a function. Now we'll see further on that how we'll do this. So for like using a function, we need to remember certain points. First is you can provide an empty list as parameter, no issues in that, which means that the function might take no arguments. If we have mentioned only parentheses after giving a name of a function, it means we are not passing any parameter to the function. Lisp allows many various types of arguments. Few of them are optional, multiple means rest, and keyword arguments. One by one we'll see the example of all the three types of arguments. The document string describes only the purpose of a function. You can mention it for your ease that later on in future if you want to see what basically the function is doing, you can put a documentation over there. The body of the function as said is the main part which consists of the statements which are to be executed whenever the function will be going to get called. So it can have any number of Lisp based expression. The value of the last expression in the body should always be a statement which will be going to return the value of the function to the called function. Wherever you are calling to that calling statement, when you call the function, it executes all the statements and takes the value as a return value. And that return statement will be the last expression of the body part of a Lisp function. You can also return a value from the function using return hyphen from special operator. So the name of operator is return hyphen from. I can write over here together return hyphen from. Here as the space was not there, it's mentioned over there, so it's from over here. Fine. So this is what are various points to be remembered while using a function. Now see, first of all, I said we can pass three types of arguments or parameters. One is optional, another is rest, and third is keyword. So first let's talk about optional parameter. You can define a function with optional parameter using a symbol ampersand optional before the name of the optional parameter. Whenever you are giving any optional parameter which is not mandatory to be passed while calling a function, we have to use a keyword over there or symbol over there, that is ampersand optional. Like here in the example, I am making a function. The name of the function is show members. The job of this function is to the show the members which are being lined to this function. Now in this function, at the place of parameter list, I have passed A, B, then ampersand optional C and D. What it means that A, B and D are the parameters which are not optional, but C is a parameter which is optional. Why? Um, Sorry, whereas C and D are the parameters which are optional. So when you are calling a function, you can pass minimum 2 number of arguments and maximum 4 number of arguments, because minimum 2 are mandatory and 2 are optional. So you can pass 3 also, no issues. But minimum 2 and maximum 4, in between you can pass 3 arguments also, because both of the last 2 arguments are optional. So in this, we see in this example how it is happening. In this, I have mentioned a function within the parenthesis started with dfun. The name of a function is show members. Within this, the list of argument contains parameter contains 4 parameters. 2 are mandatory, 2 are optional. The name of optional parameter is C and D, and the mandatory is A and B. Now within the body part, I am writing a list, passing the argument to it, and the list will contain 4 arguments, 4 parameters A, B, C, D, and whatever the number of arguments are being passed in this list will be going to get written on the output window. Now here I am calling a function. This time when I am calling, I am passing 3 arguments. So look at the output. The output is 1, 2, 3 and fourth one is nil. Now TERPRI means terminate and print. So after terminating, it will be printing a blank line over there, empty line over there, in which it will be going to print the output. It will take my cursor to the next line, terminate, and it will take my cursor to the new line. Now I am saying show members. I have passed 4 arguments A, B, C, D. As I have used quote symbol, it means that these are not a spatial symbol. These are as normal character which I am passing. So I am passing values A, B, C, D. A will go to A, B will go to B, C will go to C, and D will go to. It's matter of chance. You can write over here X, Y, Z also. There is no relation between this A and this A. Only the thing, this A is a parameter and this A is a value. To just overcome this confusion, that compiler should not get confused that this is the name of a variable only, we have used quote symbol over here. So this quote will be going to just omit the special meaning of A and treat it as a normal variable. So when I have passed 4 arguments, you can see over here it has written A, B, C, D, all the 4 parameters over here. Again terminate and print, it will take me to the new line. Now again when I say show member A, B, so 2 arguments are compulsory. You can see A and B are printed, and in rest of the optional parameter place 2 nils are coming. So here you have passed 3 arguments, 2 is minimum, 4 is maximum. You can pass any kind of data type. As you have passed numbers over here, you can see that the output is number. So this is how we use optional parameter. This is how we use optional parameter in a function. Now we see how we can use rest parameter. Rest is the another parameter. So some function need to take variable number of arguments. You don't know how many number of arguments you are passing. Might be it is 1 or 2 or 3 or any number of arguments. So to treat all the variable number of argument, you can use a symbol that is ampersand rest. Fine. So whatever the mandatory arguments are over there, you write that, and after that mention rest and the name of a variable in which all rest of the variables will be going to get accommodated as a list. So in this, what is there, that in case I'm using format function, in case we are using format function, and whenever we use format function, we have to remember this thing, that format function need two arguments at least. First is the string and second is the control string. So after the string, it needs a variable number of arguments depending on the number of values to be displayed in the string. Similarly, if we talk about plus function or into function, it may also take variable number of arguments. Minimum number of arguments will be 2, but it can take variable number of arguments also whenever you want to perform addition function or a product function, multiplication function. So you can provide to such list of arguments where you don't know how many number of numbers you want to add or how many numbers of product you are going to find it out. You can use ampersand rest symbol. So we'll take firstly the example of this only. Here you can see what I have done. I am having one function show members defined using dfun macro. Within this I have mentioned three parameters. A and B are mandatory, and ampersand rest is mentioning to all the rest of the arguments I'll be passing over there. It can be in any number. And what we are doing, we are writing the all the values which are in the list A, B and all the values. So when I say show members 1, 2, 3, then you have to very much clear about this thing. This 1 will go to A, 2 will go to B, and this 3 will go to this list of all the rest of the values. That is why when you see the output, this 1, 2 is lying within the main parenthesis and 3 is coming within parenthesis because it is a part of values. It is a part of list which is pointing to all the rest of the arguments which will be going to pass by the user while calling a function. So it is mentioned in a list. Similarly, you see when you pass this the list of argument as A, B, C, D. Now you know that two are compulsory. A and B are this A normal character A will go to A parameter, B will go to B parameter, and CD will be a part of values. So these CD, the list of all the parameters which will be coming after A and B, all the values which will be coming after first two values will go inside values, which itself a list. So that is why the C and D is coming with it inner parenthesis. It's a part of list. Now again, see, we have passed A and B. So it means that I am not passing any variable number of arguments over there. So it will represent nil over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, you can pass numbers also. So 3, 4 will be a part of values, that is the inner sublist. Similarly, I have passed so many number of arguments. So 1 will be a value of A parameter, 2 will be a value of B parameter, and rest of the values 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 will be a part of values, that is a sublist which is going to get appeared over here, this 4 to 9. Which is appeared within this inner parenthesis as a sublist, a part of a main list. So this is how we use rest. Rest always point to all the rest of the parameters which are being passed, no matter those are in how many numbers. Now third is keyword parameters. So keyword parameters allow you to specify that which value go to which particular parameter, because you can have any number of parameters, but you can key in also that this value is with respect to this parameter. Might be if in case you are mentioning 4 arguments in a order and we are passing 4 values in a order, then definitely all the values go sequentially, first value to first parameter, second to second parameter, third to third parameter, and so on. But if in case you want to just jumble up the values and you want to say no, this key value is having this particular value, it is not in a sequence, it is actually written in a jumbled way, and you want to specify that no, this second parameter is lying to the second value is lying to the third parameter, or third value is lying to the first parameter, or fifth value is lying to the second parameter. So how you can do, using keyword parameter, and the symbol which we use is ampersand key, and when you indicate it, the syntax of indicating it is colon, and after that the after colon you will mention the parameter name and then the value. Colon, then parameter name and then value you have to mention. So how you will be clear in this example. Here see, I have again used the same function name. You can use different also. And I am saying that the list of parameter is based on key value pair. So I have used ampersand key symbol over here and I am writing down whatever the parameters are being passed in the list over here. I am going to print it out or write it out. So show members, what I am saying, go and just have this one value to A parameter, 2 to C and 3 to D, and I am printing A, B, C, D. So now what we will see, this against B, there is no value assigned to B. So in place of B, you can see in place of B what is coming, nil. This C2 is coming at third position and 3 is coming at fourth position. So this is what is key. You can assign that yes, I am passing 3 values, but these 3 values are not going to nominate sequentially to first 3 arguments. Second argument is not having any value. Similarly, here I mentioned in third example, to A P, to B Q, to C R and to D S. So you can see in a sequence the values are being displayed. Or you can say to A P and to D Q. So I haven't mentioned anything for B and C. So in place of B and C, you can see nil is appearing. Similarly to A, I have allocated 1 as a value. To B variable, I have allocated 2 as a value. Not allocated to C and D. So in place of C and D, nil is coming. So these 3 are the parameters which can be used while passing other normal parameters while defining and calling a function. We'll see few more examples in which you see that you will be returning the value. So returning value from the function, how you can do, you are defining a function over here using dfun macro. The name of a function is addall and the argument which I am passing are 4 in number A, B, C, D. Now what I want to do, I want to perform the additional functionality. That's why the symbol is plus over here. And I want to add all the numbers which are coming as an argument while calling a function. So this, now definitely what I said, the last statement will be going to return the value. So the return value can be stored also. So here I am calling a function addall, passing 4 values. But whatever the value it is going to return, I am storing it in sum using setq. Setq is a macro which is used to initialize the value to a variable, which we have learned earlier in the previous classes. So with the help of setq, you can set a value of a variable sum, and which value I am setting or initializing, the return value of this function. When I write sum, you can see the output. When I write sum, this sum will be going to get displayed over here, that is 100. Then terminate in print. This time I am passing float values. This time I am passing float values. You can see over here, these are the float values which I am passing. And in this, when you look at the output is 125.0. So here I am not storing the return value in some variable. You can directly write also. So when I am directly writing, it is displaying me the float value. So any kind of values we can pass over here, any kind of number type. This is example 2 where we are learning how to use return -from. So dfun, the name of a function is myfun. I am passing some variable or parameter over here. Here I am saying within the function I am again calling a function with value as 10. Now again it will be returning value as num over here. I am writing a function by calling this function with 20 value. Now when I pass 20 value, what I see that I have passed value 20 over here, but the output is 10 because 20 go over here, but again here I am calling a function with value as 10, so this 20 will be going to get override, and in num I am getting value as 10. So this is also one of the way. Similarly, you can change a code also. You can say myfunc10 write num. In spite of writing simply num, you can say write num also, and again you can call a function using write, and you see the value is 10 because this 20 will be going to get overwritten inside the definition of a function. So this is also a very beautiful way to have a change value uh, as a return value from the function, because you can pass inside also, you can call function inside a function definition also, which is a concept of recursion we'll be seeing in coming classes. There is one more function, lambda function, which is also known as anonymous function. It works like an inline function. Suppose there is a very small code which you want to execute then and there. You don't want to give a name of a function. You want to replicate the output of the statement which is mentioned as a body part of a lambda expression. You can do that. You have to start that with lambda. Then you can mention the name of a parameter over there and the body part. So lambda function cannot be evaluated and it must appear only where Lisp expects to find a function. Where, when and where it is used, so at times you may need a function in only one place in your program and the function is so trivial that you may not give it a name or may not like to store it in the symbol table so that you can use it later on. No utility, such kind of utility is required. So in such case you need to have a provision where you can have an anonymous or unnamed function that you can do with the help of lambda function. So this is example wherein I am saying write what I want to write lambda abcx are the four arguments. What we have to do with these four parameters? These four parameters are to be evaluated on the basis of the expression written over here in the form of prefix notation, that is b into x into x. Then this will be going to multiplied with a, whatever the output will be over there, going to get sum up with c. So I have passed some argument to it over here, then and there, that is 4293. No need to call it later on, 4293, and you can see the output as 51. Hence, we say that you can use lambda function also according to usage, as we have used earlier also, inline function. Next is mapping function. Mapping function basically is a group of functions that could be applied successively to one or more list of elements which are being passed over there. So the result of applying these functions to a list are placed in a new list always, and that new list is going to get returned to the calling function. For example, mapcar function processes successive elements of one or more lists. The first argument of the mapcar function should be a function and the remaining argument are the list to which that function is to be applied. Now what you need to remember that if the argument function is applied to the successive element, that result into a newly constructed list, well and good. But if the argument lists are not equal in length, then what it do, it processes the process of mapping stops then and there when it encounters a shorted list. It will not going to move ahead. So the returning list will be having the same number of elements that the shortest list is having. For example, you can see over here, here are the three examples. In first example, what I am saying, map car, what I want to do with this map car, I want to perform a functionality that is plus. I want to plus 1 with these all list of arguments. So this 1 will be going to get added to all the list of element and the new list is being created. 23 becomes 24, 34 becomes 35 and so on, and you see that the output is over here. Similarly, you can use it in the function also. There is a function name, by the name of a function is cube my list. I am passing a list to it. Within this I am mapping function wherein I am using a lambda function, wherein whatever the list of arguments are over there, one by one they will be going to get to the lambda function and it will be evaluating the cube and returning the cube in the new list. So when I call a function cube my list and pass some list of arguments, these all list of arguments will go to this lambda function, going to get evaluated, finding out its cube and returning a new list with the cube of all these numbers in a sequence, in a successive manner. 2 becomes 8, 3 becomes 27, 4 becomes 64, 9 becomes 729, 8 becomes 512, and so on. So this is the another way of using mapcar function. Now I'll show you one more example in which what I'm doing, I'm simply having two lists. One is shortest list and another is a longer one. What I want to do, I want to perform additional functionality. I want to sum up these all list of values with these all list of values in a successive manner, but length are different. So what it will do, it will just stop whenever it encounters a shortest list. So this 1 will be going to edit with 2, it becomes 3. 3 will be going to edit with 4, so 4 is 7. Then this 5 will be going to get added with 6 and it becomes 11. Then 9 will be going to get added with 8 and it becomes, no sorry, 7 will be going to get added with this 8 and it becomes 15, and rest of the list will be going to get left, will not be going to get considered, because it will going to get stopped then and there where it will encounter a shortest list, and shortest list contain 4 elements only. So after considering the first 4 elements, it will be going to stop evaluation and give the output, the new list with the 4 parameters only, 4 output values only. So this is how we use mapcar function. And apart from this, in coming classes we will see much more functionalities which are provided in Lisp programming language. For now, thanks a lot. Have a nice time.